Hello and welcome to the weekly Pre-Shabbat AGJC Zoom call. Each week we gather together the Jewish communities of all 6 GCC countries and our families and friends from around the world to hear a special message before Shabbat, light candles, hear Dvar Torah, pray and read a section from the weekly Torah portion. Today we will hear from Dr. Yoel Hareben, who is the Director of the International Division and Resource Development at Sheba Medical Center, and will speak about the Hanukkah miracles at Sheba Hospital. The Association of Gulf Jewish Communities is the umbrella organization for the Jewish communities of the GCC countries that are building and enhancing Jewish life in the region. While each community is independent, we share a common goal and vision for Jewish life to flourish in the Gulf for the benefit of both residents and visitors. To stay updated on AGJC events, please follow us on Twitter at Gulf Jewish and visit our website, www.gulfjewish.org. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Hanukkah Sameach, and continuing to pray for peace to prevail around the world.
Thank you so much, Shuda. And now we're going to head over to Cheryl, who's going to light the menorah for us this week.
Hi everyone, Hanukkah Sameach. Baruch atah Adonai, Elenu melech haolam, שי קדישנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נרות של חנוכה. אמן.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. חנוכה שמח.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to head over to Alex, who's going to lead us in Ma'od Zor.
Thank you, Cheryl. Especially בזמן הזה. מעוז זו ישועתי לכאן, לשבח תיקום בית תפילתי, ושם תודה נזבח, ליצחין מצמד ביח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח. אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח. חג שמח.
Thank you so much, Alex. And now we'll head back to Cheryl, who's going to light the Shabbat candles.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. שבת שלום.
Thank you so much. All right, this is getting repetitive, but now we'll go back to Alex, who's going to lead us in the Chadodi.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך הפכה. רב לך שבט בימי קבחה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימים ושמאל תפרצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, שבת נקבלה.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to head over to Ambassador Naya, who's going to introduce today's speaker. I think you're muted if you don't mind. Sorry.
Hello, everybody, and Hanukkah Sameach. We have with us Doctor for Business Management, Dr. Yoel Even, who served in the Israel Defense Forces for 26 years and rose to the ranks of Lieutenant Colonel. Yoel has got many achievements on his belt. Started as a paramedic, combat paramedic in the Army. He also has a BA in nursing from the Hebrew University, Hadassah School of Nursing in Jerusalem, and a Master in Health Administration degree from the Ben Gurion University. He just recently completed his PhD. His research has focused on studying the performance outcomes of the large health management systems in a general, developing models for delivering healthcare in particular. Likewise, he's a partner to research on the topic of disease medicine and humanitarian medicine. And one of the latest things he participated in was commanding the field hospital that Israel opened in Ukraine, performing 60 surgeries and 2 deliveries. Yoel is also holding the prize for being one of the 100 most influential Jews and one of the top 28 influential Israelis in Israel. Yoel, it's a pleasure to having you here. It's an honor, and please, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Eitan, and it's so good to be back with you for Pre-Shabbat and Hanukkah. I think the most important prize that I forgot to put is that recently I nominated number 5 in my house as the most influential member, just before the dog. So I think it's, seriously, I want to update you on what's going on right now at Sheba and focusing on a few stories about miracles, because we are about to celebrate the second candle of Hanukkah. But before, I want to brief you that right now we have 4 main challenges or responsibilities in Israel. One is that we need to give the advanced and the best medical care that we can offer to our soldiers. Since the ground invasion reoperated and restarted a week ago, we got every day 2, 3, 4 choppers loaded with casualties, wounded soldiers that coming to Sheba. And our responsibility is to give them the best medical care in the world that we can offer those heroes. Since the war began, we treated more than 700 casualties, and right now at Sheba we have more than 150 soldiers and civilians that still hospitalized at Sheba. Happily, most of them moved from the acute phase to the rehab, and we see in front of our eyes another miracle with those kids. I can say kids because most of them are at the age of my two sons that are fighting right now, is that because they are strong and basically healthy people, and they are fully motivated, they are jumping from the acute phase to the rehab phase very, very fast. So they are healing themselves, and without our support, we are happy that they are moving from the ICU and the intensive care units to rehabilitation within a few days, which is unlike the other process for regular people who are get hurted or injured. The second one is very important, that we must provide the best medical care for the state of Israel, because routine life continue. We never stop any elective or emergency operation or procedure in Israel. Heart stroke still happen, and brain stroke still happen, and we need to deliver babies, and we need to take care of the Israeli society. Therefore, we are focusing on also not stopping any service, because if we stop services for the population, that's exactly what Hamas wants us. So parallel to treating the soldiers and the casualties, we are treating, and we didn't stop any service for the state of Israel, for the population. Third is to give the best medicine and the best tending, loving care to the hostages that coming. 30 of them airlifted and brought to Sheba. Children and women, we treat them for a couple of days. Right now, this unique department is empty. Unfortunately, there is no new entries in the last few days, as you probably know. But we treated them with the most compassion, treatment and staff. Most of the staff that dedicated for this was females, nurses, physicians, occupational therapists, and we gave them the most advanced and love that we can give to those who return. We prefer to call them the return, those who return from the Chevy, to be hostages. And last but not least, we are preparing ourselves for the next battle. And for us, the next battle will be the battle of the rehabilitation. Because right now, physically, we know how to do and how to deal with physical rehabilitation. But I think Israel is not ready yet to take care of the thousands of hundreds of people who will suffer from mental issues, mostly PTSD. And right now, we are taking the leading as a national hospital to lead the treatment and the training of those who's gonna take care of those hundreds of thousands of PTSD or mental disease that will follow in the next few weeks and months. But what I've been asked to speak this afternoon is about the miracles. And we saw in front of our eyes every day dozens of miracles. I focus and I prefer to give you and brief you on three stories of two soldiers and one civilian that I personally consider them as heroes and as miracles. The first one is a sad story, but you need to know that there is a lot of sad stories in this war. It's about Roy Nahari. Roy Nahari is a young paratrooper, 22 years old, for Moshav Ora next to Jerusalem. He was one of the first wounded soldiers in the October 7th. He brought to Sheba, as we define in the medical array, as dead on arrival. We did everything that we can do to survive him and treat him in advanced therapeutics and the most dedicated staff, but unfortunately, we couldn't make it. His parents decided to donate his organs, and 6 Israelis, amongst them 1 Arab Israeli, were survived due to his and his parents' contribution. It's not a living miracle. It's 6 living miracles that are living due to his parents and donation. The second one is a young officer named Eden Ram. Eden was in the Simchat Torah and Shabbat. She was the in-charge officer in a small base in the south part of Israel when the terrorists, the brutal murder came into the base and murdered and slaughtered 7 from the 14th soldiers that kept this base on this Shabbat. A few people were protecting the war room because most of the sensitive information was in the war room. When the terrorists attacked the war room, most of the soldiers were killed, and Eden and one of her soldiers survived, not before having 12 bullets in her body. She was lying as a dead body, covered with dead bodies, other dead bodies, for hours before the IDF came and rescued this base and took over Eden in a very, very few last breathing. And when I spoke to her previously yesterday, she kindled the light with the president of the state of Israel. Yesterday we had a very emotional ceremony, and she told us that at the age of 20, she didn't expect that this will be the end of her life. She said that she had still some plans to do. She wanted to get married, she wanted to have kids, and she didn't imagine that this is the way that she's going to end her life. Fortunately enough, she was saved, and the day before yesterday, she had the first steps walking on her feet again. The last story that I want to share with you, it's about a civilian. He's not a military man. He's a simple family member. He's the head of the family. Amichai Schindler from Kerem Shalom. Kerem Shalom, for those of you who are not familiar exactly with the map of Israel, is the closest village or settlement on the Gaza envelope, in the southern part of Gaza envelope, just a few meters separating between the wall, the fence, the border, and the first houses of Kerem Shalom. Amichai, his wife, and his 6 kids in this Simchat Torah morning went into the safe house, safe room, to the mamad, where the brutal animals enter their kibbutz and move from house to house, try to kill, kidnap, and destroy everything that is coming in their ways. And he protected his family for several hours with his bare hands, blocking the door of the mamad, the safe room. They shot through the door, and when he was brought to Sheba and went to the ICU room, we need to amputate his right arm and a few fingers in his left arm. Amichai survived the attack. He started to recover, and the first words that he said after we extubated him and he was able to speak again was the first prayer, as every Jewish person is praying in the morning. He said, Modani lefanecha. Later on, he started to walk again, and he rejoined his family, his 6 kids and his wife, and he's still has a long journey of rehabilitation. but Amichai will do it, and he will survive, and he, with our help, will be able to be a fruitful member of society, a good father to his six kids, and a proud Israeli. So I know the time is running, and thank you again for being with us. I know everyone here with his thought, with his hearts, Israel and the Jewish people, we feel the same thing together, and we will prevail. We will win because we have no other country and we don't have any other choice. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Chanukah.
Y'all, thank you so much for speaking with us today. I think I, like many of millions of people around the world, was glued to the TV screen watching as the hostages entered back into Israel. And I recall watching on CNN as those black vans carrying them would arrive to Sheba. And with such sensitivity, one van would go in, they would roll that purple curtain across, the hostages would disembark on the next one. And just the sensitivity that your team took to make sure that they had as comfortable of an arrival as possible, and that, you know, the media wasn't, you know, zooming in to get those pictures. I feel it needs to be called out. I remember another segment where they showed some of the rooms that you guys had done to make sure, again, that they were as warm as could be for a hospital. And, you know, we're honored to have you speak with us today about the miracles taking place at Sheba. But I really think that for those hostages, for their families, and for all of, you know, all Jews around the world, really, Sheba itself is providing those miracles. And so I just wanted to thank you again for speaking with us today. I'm sure in light of everything going on, it's not an easy time to take some moments away, but I just wanted to kind of publicly thank you guys for that. I thought it was handled with such sensitivity and such care, and I don't think there are enough, you know, ways to say thank you for that. So I guess on behalf of all of us, I just wanted to do that. And now we'll head over to Rabbi Sarna, who's going to share some words of Divrei Torah with us.
Thank you, Ariella, and Shabbat Shalom and Happy Chanukah to everyone. Thank you also, Doctor, for those inspiring words, and for sharing us the Nisim Niflot B'chol Yom, you know, every day that we see. I wanted to. I was just the other week. I was in the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi, and for those of you who visited, you know that the symbol of the Moses ben Maimon synagogue is the Chanukiah, and there's a very tall pillar outside of the synagogue, which is a counterpart to a pillar that is right next to the mosque that has a cross, and crescent, and right next to the church that has a cross. But the symbol of the synagogue is the menorah, or the Chanukiah, and it, of course, invoking what it means to be a source of light, And for Jews in the diaspora, of course, over the course of Jewish history, the Chanukiah moves. It doesn't stay static. What do I mean? What I mean is that the original institution of the Chanukiah was to be placed right outside near the door, with the mezuzah on one side and the Chanukiah on the other side, so that everyone who is walking by in Rashut Rabim, everybody's walking by on the street, when they see the house, they will see the Chanukiah in a way as branding the house or labeling the house, and they will notice the miracle of Chanukah, and it will be a fulfillment of Pirsumei Nisa, much as the doctor did today, sharing with us stories of the miracles. It's there for all to see, and unfortunately, throughout Jewish history, there's also been moments of what the Gemara refers to as shmat, moments of oppression, or of more particularly of danger, when public expressions of Jewishness were much more of a liability than they were for a cause of celebration. And in those cases, in the diaspora, the custom has become to not put the Chanukiah outside of the door, but instead to put it inside of the house and on the table. And the Pirsumei Nisa, the spreading of the miracle, the news of the miracle, is for b'nei beito, for members of the household, even for just the one person, in order to avoid any danger that might befall a home if it were to be identified as a Jewish home from the outside. And I think no matter where a person is in the diaspora, right now in New York City, no matter where a person is in the diaspora today for this Hanukkah, there are questions about how safe is it? How comfortable is it? How possible is it to have a Hanukkah placed on the outside instead of on the inside? And it's really for each person in each location to figure out where, not just physically, but also metaphorically, how is it that we are making our way through the diaspora today? And there really is a different kind of modality. There's a different intention, a different kavanah. When you have a Chanukiah outside, the purpose really is a different audience. It's the outside. And when the Gemara says that the mitzvah is ner ish ubeito, that the commandment is for a person and their household, in that way, it's for a person in the household to project outwards. But there's also the nature of the mitzvah, which is ner ish ubeito, when the light is spreading in. And the truth is that we, throughout the course of Jewish history, we always need both. We always need for the light to be reinforced internally for ourselves, among our own, to open our hearts, open our minds, open our souls, to receive the light, to be reinforced, to be kept strong. And also, we can never stop thinking about how and in what ways can we spread the light outside. This is not an easy Hanukkah this year. And nevertheless, when we take those moments, each of these 8 nights, as well as this evening, as we've done, we have to, let's remind ourselves and let's take strength in each other to really open our hearts in order to receive the light, and God willing, soon spread this light all over. Shabbat Shalom and Chanukah Sameach.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Sarna, for those inspiring words as we are about to experience Shabbat Hanukkah. And now I'll head over to Alex, who's going to read this week's.
וישב יעקב בארץ מגורי אביו בארץ כנען, אלה תולדות יעקב. יוסף בן 17 שנה יראה את אחיו בצאן, והוא נער את בני בלהה ואת בני זלפה נשי אביו, ויבא יוסף את דיבתם רע על אביהם בישראל. אהב את יוסף מכל בניו, כי בן זקונים הוא לו, ועשה לו כתונת פסים, ויראו אחיו, כי אותו אהב אביהם מכל אחיו, וישנאו אותו ולא יכלו דברו לשלום. ויחלום יוסף חלום, ויגד לאחיו, ויוסיפו עוד שנוא אותו, ויאמר עליהם, שמעו נא חלום הזה אשר חלמתי, והנה אנחנו מעלמים עלומים בתוך השדה, והנה קמה אלומתי וגם ניצבה, והנה תשאו בין אלומתכם ותשתחוון על אלומתי, ויאמרו לו אחיו המלוך תמלוך עלינו אם משול תמשול בנו, ויוסיפו עוד שנוא אותו על חלומותיו ועל דבריו, ויחלום עוד חלום אחר, ויספר אותו לאחיו, ויאמר הנה חלום חלמתי עוד, והנה השמש וירח, ו11 כוכבים משתחווים לי, ויספר את אביו ולך, ויגע בו אביו, ויאמר לו מה החלום הזה אשר חלמת, הבוא נבוא אני ועמך ואחיך להשתחוות לך ארצה, ויקנו בו אחיו, ואביו שמר את הדבר.
Thanks, Alex. And I will head to John, who's going to read the English translation.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Now Jacob was settled in the land where his father had sojourned, the land of Canaan. This then is the line of Jacob. At 17 years of age, Joseph tended the flocks with his brothers as a helper to the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. And Joseph brought bad reports of them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph best of all of his sons. He was his child of old age, and he made him an ornamented tunic. And when his brothers saw that the father loved him more than any of his brothers, they hated him so that they could not speak a friendly word to him. Once Joseph had a dream, which he told to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Hear this dream which I have dreamed. They were binding sheaves in the field when suddenly my sheaf stood up and remained upright. Then your sheaves gathered around and bowed low to my sheaf." His brother answered, "Do you mean to reign over us? Do you mean to rule over us?" And they hated him even more for his talk about his dreams. He dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, "Look, I've had another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." And when he told it to his fathers and brothers, his father berated him. What he said to them, "Is this a dream you have dreamed? Are we to come, I and your mother and your brothers, and bow down to you to the ground?" So his brothers were brought up at him, and his fathers kept the matter in mind.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to head over to Steve, who's going to read the Chief Rabbi of the UK's prayer.
You hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, אבינו שבשמיים, שאו ישראל וגואלו, באנו לפניך בתפילה ובתחנונים תמיהים ושבורי לב על המכות האכזריות, אשר הכתה ארצנו הקדושה ועמך ישראל, ביום שאשר הפכה חגנו לאבל. אנו מתאבלים על אובדן מאות אנשים, נשים וטף אשר נרצחו בזדון, ומתפללים על נפשותיהם. אבינו מלכנו, שלח רפואה שלמה לאלפי פצועי עמך. אבינו מלכנו, רחם על אחינו השבויים, והוציאם מאפלה וצל מוות לגאולה. מסורותיהם תפתח ומקצועיהם חצילם, והשיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיכם. אבינו מלכנו, הגן על משפחות ישראל מאימת מוות, וחזק חיילי הצבא ההגנה לישראל, אשר שמים נפשם בכפם והצביעם לקראת אויבינו. אבינו מלכנו, אשר בידיך לב מלכים ושרים, תקן בעצה טובה מלפניך את שרי ישראל לנצח במלחמותיהם, כדי שיהיו תושביה שאננים מעין מחריד. אבינו מלכנו, פרוש סוכת שלומך על יושבי ארצך, ככתוב, ונתתי שלום בארץ ושכבתם, ואין מחריד והשפטי חיה רעה מן הארץ, וחרב לא תעבור בארצכם. ברכנו אבינו בביטחון ושלווה, ושים שלום אמיתי וקיים על מדינת ישראל ועל כל יושבי חבל ארצך. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Thank you so much, Steve. And now we're going to head back to John, who's going to read the prayer for the GCC.
Am I off mute? You can hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Is this needed more than ever? May he who gives salvation to kings and dominion to princes, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, who delivers his servant David from the evil sword, who makes a way in the sea and a path through the mighty waters, bless and protect, guard and help, exalt, magnify and uplift His Majesty the King of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty the King of Bahrain, His Majesty the Sultan of Oman, His Majesty the President of the UAE, His Highness the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness the Emir of Qatar, and all their crown princes. And may the Supreme King of Kings, in his mercy, put a spirit of wisdom and understanding into their hearts and the hearts of all of their counselors and officials to deal kindly with us, the house of Jacob, and all the people of this land. Be their shelter and stronghold, and let them not falter. In their days and on ours, may these lands be blessed with stability, prosperity, and peace. May his will, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much, John. Before I turn it back to Steve, who's going to usher us out with Shalom Aleichem, just a quick reminder to please join us next Friday, same time, same place, same Zoom link. We've got a wonderful lineup of speakers over the next few weeks, and we look forward to you joining us. And now, over to you, Steve.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom and happy Hanukkah.